Walk with me.
Hear my prayer, O God. In my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot down their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. And suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter, and they commune in laying snares privily. And they say, who shall see him or see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both inward thought and every one of them, and the heart is deep. But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue fall upon themselves, and that all that see them shall flee away. And all men shall fear and shall declare the work of God, for they shall wisely consider of his doing. The righteous shall be glad in the I am, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. Psalms chapter 64. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform and other platforms and shared platforms. We thank God for you. Yes. And with a hand clap of praise, we thank God for those that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have came thereafter and here and there's about. And we thank God for those of you that have just subscribed. We give God the glory for you, and those that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes. We're in the book of Jasher chapter 53. The book of Jasher chapter 53. And Jacob sent a letter to the king of Egypt, warning him about who's really behind the power of the children of Judah. The children of Jacob. Giving him warning not to harm even his youngest son, even Benoni. They call him in their translations Benjamin, but we know the J wasn't even remotely in that era. Now, let's read. In Jasher chapter 53, it says, and the sons of Jacob rose up and took Benjamin and the whole of the presents, and they went and came to Egypt, and they stood before Joseph. And Joseph beheld his brother Benoni with them, and he saluted them, and these men came to Joseph's house. And Joseph commanded the superintendent of the house to give him to his brethren to eat. And he did so unto them. And at noontime Joseph sent for the men to come before him with Benoni. And the men told the superintendent of Joseph's house concerning the silver that was returned in their sacks. And he said unto them, it will be well with you, fear not. And he brought their brothers Simeon unto them. And Simeon said unto his brethren, the I am, or should I say, the king of Egypt, has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes, for when you went out from the city, he let me free and dealt kindly with me in his house. And Judah took Benoni by the hand, and they came before Joseph, and they bowed down to him to the ground. Yeah. There go his vision right there. The sheaves bowed to his sheaves. God is good. And the men gave the present unto Joseph, and they all sat before him. And Joseph said unto them, it is well with you. Is it well with you? Is it well with your children? Is it well with your aged father? And they said, it is well. And Judah took the record which Jacob had sent and gave it into the hand of Joseph. And Joseph read the letter and knew his father's writing, and he wished to weep. And he went into an inner room, and he wept a great weeping, and he went out. And he lifted up his eyes and beheld his brother Benoni, and said, It is your brother whom you spoke unto me. And Benoni approached Joseph, and Joseph placed his hand upon his head, and he said unto him, May God be gracious unto thee, my son. And when Joseph saw his brother, the son of his mother, he again wished to weep. And he entered the chamber, and he wept there, and he washed his face, and went out and refrained from weeping. And he said, Prepare food. And Joseph had a cup from which he drank, and it was of silver, beautifully inlaid with onyx stone and bdellium. And Joseph struck the cup in the sight of his brothers while they were sitting to eat with him. And Joseph said to the men, I know by this cup that Reuben, the firstborn, Simeon, and Levi, and Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun are children from one mother. Seat yourselves to eat according to your births. So he placed the other according to their births. And he said, I know this your youngest brother has no brother, and I like him have no brother, and he shall therefore sit down to eat with me. It's giving you more detail than the 66 books. And Benoni went up before Joseph and sat upon the throne, and the man beheld the acts of Joseph, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at that time and with Joseph, and he then gave presents unto them. And Joseph gave one gift unto Benoni and Manasseh and Ephraim, and all acts of their kindness, acts of their father. And they also gave presents unto him, and Osnath gave him one present. And they were 5 presents in the hand of Benoni, which some translators call him Benjamin. And Joseph brought them out wine to drink, and they would not drink. And they said, From the day on which Joseph was lost, we have not drunk wine, nor eating any delicacy. Sort of the law of the Nazarites, we can say. And Joseph swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentifully. And with him on that day, and Joseph afterwards turned to his brother Benoni to speak with him. And Benjamin was still sitting upon the throne before Joseph. Now, sitting on the throne, you have to look at the etymology of that word. Sitting on a seat or in a chair, a throne. This is Old English. You have to really pay attention. And Joseph said unto him, Hast thou begotten any children? He said, Thy servant has 10 sons. These are their names: Bela, Becher, Ashbal, Gara, Naaman, Achi, Rosh, Rupim, Chupim, and Or. And I call their names after my brother, whom I have not seen. And he ordered them to bring before him his map of the stars, whereby Joseph knew all the times. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Hebrews are acquainted with all wisdom, and dost thou know anything of this? And Benoni said, Why? Said, Thy servant is knowing also in all the wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument, and understand where thy brother Joseph is in Egypt, who you said went down to Egypt. And Benoni beheld that instrument with the map of the stars of heaven, and he was wise, and looked therefore therein to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Egypt into 4 divisions. And he found that he was sitting upon the throne before him was his brother Joseph. And Benjamin wondered greatly. And when Joseph saw that his brother Benoni was so much astonished, he said to Benoni, What hast thou seen? And why art thou astonished? And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph my brother sitteth here with me upon the throne. And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph thy brother. Now this is where the 66 books said he cried out and said, I am Joseph thy brother. Reveal not this thing to thy brethren. Behold, I will send thee with them when they go away, and I will command them to be brought back again into the city, and I will take thee away from them. So he actually, the thing that he did, he planned it. 66 books doesn't give you this detail. No, it doesn't. And if they dare their lives and fight for thee, then I shall know that they have repented for what they did unto me, and I will make myself known to them. If they forsake thee when I take thee, then shalt thou remain with me, and I will wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. So he had a plan, yes. And at that time Joseph commanded his officers to fill their sacks with food, and put each man's money into his sack, and put the cup in the sack of Benjamin. And to him give provisions for the road, and they did say so unto them. And on the next day the men rose up early in the morning, and they loaded their asses with their corn, and they went forth, and with Benoni, and they went to the land of Canaan with their brother Benoni. And they had not gone far from Egypt when Joseph commanded them that was set over his house, saying, Rise, pursue these men before they get too far from Egypt, and say unto them, Why have you stolen my master's cup? And Joseph's officer rose up, and he reached them, and he spoke unto them all the words of Joseph. And when they heard this thing, they became exceedingly wroth, and they said, He with whom my master's cup shall be found shall die, and we will become slaves. And they hastened, and each man brought down his own sack from his ass, and they looked in their bags, and the cup was found in Benoni's bag. And they all tore their garments, and they returned to the city, and they smote Benoni in the road, continually smiting him until he came into the city, and they stood before Joseph. And Judah's anger was kindled, and he said, This man has only brought me back to destroy Egypt this day. And the men came to Joseph's house, and they found Joseph sitting upon his throne, and all the mighty men standing at his right hand and left. And Joseph said unto them, What is this act that you have done, that you took away my silver cup and went away? But I know that you took my cup in order to know thereby in what part of the land your brother was. And Judah said, What shall we say to our king? What shall we speak? And how shall we justify ourselves? And God has this day found the iniquity of all thy servants. Therefore he has done this thing to us this day. And Joseph rose up and caught hold of Benoni, and took him from his brethren with violence. And he came to the house and locked the door at them. And Joseph commanded him that was set over his house, that he should say unto them, Thus saith the king, Go in peace to your father. Behold, I have taken the man in whose hand my cup was found. We're going to delve into chapter 54. And when Judah saw the dealings of Joseph with them, Judah approached him and broke open the door, and came with his brethren before Joseph. And Judah said unto Joseph, Let it be not grievous in thy sight of my king. May the servant, I pray thee, speak a word before thee. And Joseph said unto him, Speak. And Judah spoke before Joseph, and his brethren were standing before him. And Judah said unto Joseph, Surely, when we first came to our king to buy food, thou didst consider us as spies of the land, and we brought Benoni before thee, and thou still makest sport of us this day. Now therefore let the king hear my words, and I send, I pray thee, our brother, that he may go along with us to our father, and lest our soul perish this day with all souls in the inhabitants of Egypt. Dost thou not know what two of my brethren, Simeon and Levi, did unto the city of Shechem, and unto the 7 cities of the Amorites, on account of our sister Dinah? And also what they also do for the sake of their brother Benjamin. And I with my strength am greater and mightier than both of them. Come this day upon thee and thy land, if thou art willing to send our brother. Hast thou not heard what our God, who has made choice of us, did unto Pharaoh on account of Sarah our mother, whom he took away from our father, that he smote him in his house? He's basically saying the same thing that his father said. Took hold of him with heavy plagues, and that even unto this day the Egyptians relate this one to each other. So will our God do unto thee on account of Benoni, whom thou hast this day taken from his father, on account of the evils which thou this day heapest over thy land. For our God will remember his covenant with our father Abram, and bring evil upon thee, because thou hast grieved the soul of our father this day. Now therefore hear my words that I have said this day unto thee, and send our brother, that he may go away from thee, and thou, the people of thy land, die by the sword, for you cannot all prevail over me. And Joseph answered Judah, saying, Why hast thou opened wide thy mouth? Why dost thou boast over us, saying, Strength is with thee, as Pharaoh liveth? If I command all my valiant men to fight with you, surely thou and these brethren would sink in the mire. And Judah said unto Joseph, Surely it becometh thee that thy people to fear me, as the I am liveth. If I once draw my sword, I shall not sheathe it again until I shall this day have slain all Egypt, and I will commence with thee and finish with Pharaoh thy master. And verse 11. Joseph answered and said unto him, Surely strength belongeth not alone to thee. I am stronger and mighty than thou. If thou drawest thy sword, I will put it to thy neck and the necks of all thy brethren. And Judah said unto him, Surely if this day open my mouth against thee, I would swallow thee up, and that thou be destroyed from off the earth, and perish this day from thy kingdom. And Joseph said, Surely if thou openest thy mouth, I have power and might to close thy mouth with a stone, until thou hast been able to utter a word. How many stones are before us? Truly I can take a stone and force it into thy mouth and break thy jaws. Verse 13. And Judah said, God is witness between us, that we have not hitherto desired to battle with thee. Only give us our brethren, and we will go from thee. Joseph answered and said, As Pharaoh liveth, if all the kings of Canaan came together with you, you should not take him from my hand. Now therefore go your way to your father, and your brother shall be to me a slave, for he has robbed the king's house. And Judah said, What is it to thee, or to the character of the king? Surely the king sendeth forth from his house throughout the land silver and gold, either in gifts or expenses. And thou still talkest about thy cup, which thou didst place in our brother's bag, and sayest that he has stolen it from thee. God forbid that our brother Benjamin or any of the seed of Abraham should do this thing and steal from thee, for it or from anyone else, whether the king's prince or any man. We're going to leave it at that. God has your strength, Judah. God has your strength, Israel. I'm not talking about is not real. I'm talking about Israel. Lights, or however you want to put it. You have white Israelites and you have black Israelites, if we want to put it that way. But the black Israelites we call Israelites, or Israel. We're not going to put a stipulation on color to denote that the other side is more valid than the true side. No, this is what they do. African American, you're American. Now you happen to be of dark brown color, some of a lighter brown. Now even in Australia, they have the black Australians. Those are Australians. You might as well say the white Australians. Be careful of the wordplay. For one is to exalt and the other one is to belittle. God has power for you, Judah. God has power for you, Jacob. All the 12 tribes, he has power. But if you cannot trust, even as Judah, even as Joseph have presented and was confident. See, this is one thing about God. They didn't say faith. Faith is a weak word. It's weak. But I have confidence in God that he will do such a thing. Confidence. Confidence, that word is strong. It brings a smile. It brings a feeling of pride, a pride towards your God. I'm proud of my God because I'm confident that he will do that which I entrusted him to do. I am confident. You cannot fathom the wordplay that's throughout these written, translated scriptures that will cause you to even take a down road. Even the word black, blackballed, blacklisted, black sheep. In other words, you're least desirable. No one cares about you. But in that sense of the word, we're not black. But then the other side can consider not only those here in the U.S., but all over. They call themselves white. They have been conditioned to say what they are. And I'm only speaking the truth. And that's to say that white as snow, pure, white and pure. You see what I'm saying? The white knight, the powerful, this. But white cannot be night, because night was a knight, was made after, what they called a valiant black man. Whoo, my God. Come on here. But the fact your God is powerful, why are you subservient? Why are you bowing down, O man of Jacob, to those of Egypt, to those of Europe, to those of Africa, or those of any other place? Why are you bowing down to the Shemites and Hamites? Why are you bowing down? Your God is strong. And even the Japhites. Your God is strong. These men stood up in confidence because not only did they prove, God proved them, they understood that God was behind them, even as Samson. Samson had strength, but he had a prerequisite. He had a condition that his strength should prevail, and that condition was that you cut not off your head nor drink wine. But his pride, and he was brought down by a woman. Man is weak for woman. And this is where the Bible says that those that were not defiled by women. Didn't talk about you didn't have no wives or children. Look throughout the Bible. Those who have been defiled by women, by their painting of the lips, and laying with them in fornication and adultery, marrying in evil and being used to do evil, such as Ahab and Jezebel. Jezebel used Ahab, his love for her and his weakness for her. She could do evil and never even was approached about it. Be careful. For even the Bible, even though those Bibles, even the books, this is a Bible I'm reading from, but it doesn't contain the other 66. It contains the 3, Enoch, Jubilee, and Jasher. This Bible. Bible only means book if you plainly look at it. Therefore, understand the words. You don't have to tell anybody, but you have to be confident in the Most High. Confident in God, real. It doesn't bother me that my videos are oppressed, or should I say suppressed, or whatever, because God's going to allow it to reach who it's going to reach. Whether you like, share, and subscribe, or whether you just share it with someone is going to do that. Or it's going to pop up somewhere that is unlikely to be popped up. See, this is God. This is why I don't worry too much about it. I'm curious sometimes, but I don't worry about it. I go to sleep at night. because this is not me. This is God. God's trying to tell you something and you don't want to hear it. So the fact is that they were confident in the Lord, even the Most High, their owner, God, the creator of all the universe, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They were confident. A better word. A better word. You don't have to have faith. You cannot receive favor or what they say, grace from God. Your confidence, if a person has confidence in you, you favor them. Isn't God, are we not made in God's image and his likeness? If we have confidence in God, God favors us. And likewise, if you sit up there and take the words that they have transliterated, if we have faith in God, God will show grace toward us. God, other than that, it's just mercy. Mercy and favor are two different things. Favor is because you please me. Mercy is because I have compassion upon you and I see what you're going through. Although you're wicked, I will have mercy. Two different things. Don't get it mixed up. Don't get it screwed up in all these things. And men, as the Bible says, give not your strength to women. And they hate me for this. They might hate me, might despise me. Well, I don't care. But this is what this is all throughout the Word of God. He warns men about the woman. Not that we don't need woman, not that we don't like woman, not that we don't desire women. But he's saying you have to rule and deal with women with wisdom. Very cunning, even taking after the Satan that have tempted her in the, should I say, the garden. To where Adam, he wanted the woman so much that he even got to the point where he just accepted. But the sin was in all, her responsibility was not on her, but it was on Adam. What would have happened if he would have never accepted from? Would God have created another woman? One better? See, we don't know how many times Satan have been tempted by the Satans to eat of that, just that simple thing, thou shalt not. Thou shalt not eat of this. It's not the fruit. It wasn't the fruit at all. None of it was that. It was the fact of disobedience and not submitting himself to the commandment of the Most High. The commandment of the Most High came forth, and it was, thou shalt not eat of this tree. And the day that you eat of this tree, thou shalt die. You were meant to be an eternal flesh-bound being and not immortal. At that time, Adam was immortal. His flesh would have survived. No disease, no nothing. He actually died over 900 years after, almost near the time of Noah. He died the longest living man upon the face of the earth. And there's no man here, nor even Methuselah did not live as long as his father, Adam. Adam lived to see the era of his ways through his children. He lived to see it. But Adam died not by the hand of men, but by the hand of the Most High. And with that, we're going to say peace.
Walk with me.